Last night, just before sunset, I decided to go for a quick walk. I tied my shoes, put my headphones in, and put my music on shuffle. It was going to rain later on in the day, so the wind was howling, causing dead leaves to dance under my feet. I was about 8 songs in before I noticed someone behind me. At first, I thought it was just another person doing the same thing I was, enjoying what was left of the day before it began to rain. But there was no reason for them to take every single turn I did. I think I was being followed. At this point, I turned my music off and kept my headphones in so they wouldn't notice that I was onto them. I acted like I was taking a quick break to tie my shoes and catch my breath, and hopefully give them a chance to pass me. But they didn't. They stopped too. This was not a coincidence. I slightly turned my head to look at them. They were wearing a mask. It was all white except where the eyes should be, were 2 dark holes. I quickly unlocked my phone and dialed 911 just in case I needed them. I was hoping this was just a neighborhood punk playing a prank. I began to walk slowly. Hearing the sound of crunching leaves behind me, I could tell the masked figure was too. I picked up my pace and began to jog. The crunching got louder. That's it. This was no joke. I had to lose them. I began to run and hit the dial on my phone. It only rang once before my phone died. Why couldn't I have made sure my phone was fully charged? Why, Mom? Nothing bad is going to happen. I'm just going around the nearby streets. The same path I take every night. I'll be fine. Oh, how I hate that statement and being too confident in myself. What was I going to do now? I'm clearly being followed. My phone is dead. I'm on a deserted street surrounded by empty lots and a bunch of new houses in the process of being built. I glanced behind me. Whoever was wearing that mask was charging full speed at me. I quickly ducked into the overgrown lot that looked more like a forest and hid behind a tree. Peering through some mangled branches, I could see the black-eyed masked figure just standing on the side of the road, head turned, looking straight into the distance of the lot. I think they were trying to decide if I was worth the chase anymore. I swear, my heart could be heard beating a mile away. I was so scared. I never thought in a million years that I could be in a situation like this. Something straight out of a twisted horror movie. He then pulled what looked like a long pocket knife from his back pocket and began to fiddle it. Almost as if he was bored and waiting in a long line, trying to pass the time. This is insane. It began to get dark and the wind picked up. The trees above began to rustle with creatures settling in for the night. Time must have stood still for what seemed like an hour hiding behind that tree. I had to do something. I slid off my shoes so I could sneak off into the overgrown greenery and make it out through the other side of the lot without being heard. It started to rain. I looked up and closed my eyes, and for a moment, it was peaceful. This is it. The time is now. There's a psycho in a mask looking for me. I've never been more scared in my life. I started to slowly back up into the overgrown, while keeping an eye on the masked figure through the debris. When I made enough distance and the horrifying dark-eyed, pale-faced mask faded away, I turned my back and began to run. My knees and legs were getting torn up from the sharp leaves and plants. I had no idea if I was still being followed. I just kept running. The thunder seemed to match my heartbeat. I needed a break. I needed a way out. All of a sudden, I was knocked back onto the wet floor, dead leaves breaking under my clenched fist, struggling to catch the wind that was knocked out of me. Looking up, dazed and confused, I expected to see the person in the white mask with 2 black hollow eyes standing above me, getting ready to finish me off. But I was wrong. It wasn't them. It was the complete opposite. It was what seemed to be someone much taller, thinner, wearing a black mask with 2 white eyes. I put my hand on my head. I was feeling extremely dizzy. I was confused on what was going on. The mystery black masked figure put out their hand and waved their fingers, almost as if they were calling someone to their side. Cracking of branches could be heard from the distance. I turned my head to the direction. Chills ran cold down my spine. Standing there looking down at me was the previous mysterious masked creep, all white and shiny plastic with 2 black holes. pocket knife still being fiddled in their hand. They lift their mask slightly, just exposing their chapped lips and green teeth. They smiled. They nodded their head, signaling the other. They both moved in and,